final award this evening is going to be our Harold Scott Award. And to do that presentation tonight is going to be Brian Sawinski, who's going to present it to our past president, Mr. Mike Willey.
This is where competitors become colleagues, right here in this room. This is where we get together. This is where we compare stories, check notes, and become better at what we do for everybody. Approximately 43 years ago, a young man was in Ocean City drilling with his driller. The driller's name was Mike Huber. And they finished the job and they headed on back to Baltimore in a Mobil B-61 with the feed cylinders up about 3 foot. Mike Huber's young helper, Skip, that's what I call him, I've known him for many years, watched as Mike clipped every telephone line on Route 50 from the Inlet Bridge into Easton. And when they pulled over, Mike Huber asked young Skip, "Why didn't you flash your lights or something?" And Skip said, "I thought I was supposed to do that." Is it 43 years, Skip? Or 40? Is it? Do you know how many drillers you signed up to get their licenses, Skip? I laid in bed last night and I thought about it and I counted that I know of 23. I myself included. Mike Willey made sure, signed us up, sponsored us, wrote a letter of recommendation, and sent us to take our tests. I don't think there's a bigger testament than that. I don't think there is another man in the state of Maryland in our industry that has sponsored more master well drillers than you, Mike. I don't think there's anybody. I didn't learn how to drill from Mike. He was very much an office person when I worked for him and with him. But I learned how to conduct myself in a professional manner. I learned how to make money behind the drill, how to be productive and be safe. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of guys out there. Your legacy is huge, Skip. It is huge. You have been a mentor to me and many other people in this room. And I deeply, deeply appreciate that, along with your friendship that has blossomed over the years. You are, to me, a role model and a great man. And I'd like you to come on up here because I've got an award to give you. On behalf of the National Drilling Association, Skip, I give you this Distinguished Service Award, the Harold F. Scott Award, and congratulate you on a career that is not going to end, even when you fully retire, because you got all these guys out here that you brought into the business, and you treated them well, and you taught them well. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, you can do.
I actually thought when Brian was going to do this, he would have a step stool for me.
Why didn't you think of that?
I don't know, because he always brings a booster seat to dinner for me. And but first of all, I want to thank everybody involved. This is a great honor to be a member of. There's only 5 recipients of this award. I respect and admire every one of them. I was so thrilled when I found out I was getting this. Little history. Brian's right. I've been in the industry for 50 years this year. I worked for a company for 25 years, then started my own 25 years ago. But my introduction to the NDA came from a Tom Conley of the Conley dynasty, if you all know who he is. He came to me in 2008 and said he wanted to start a chapter of the NDA in Maryland. And I didn't know much about it. I knew a little, but I wasn't a member or anything. So he got involved with me and a few others, Tom Miller. I'm not going to name everybody that got involved, but taught me about the NDA and the benefits we could get. We spoke about getting CEUs, and we can only do it through the water well shows. And we wanted to teach our drillers geotech and environmental. So Tom said, we're going to start it. So we did. About the second or third meeting, we obviously had to get some officers. So Tom Conley was elected president. Joe Scribbolito was the vice president. And I believe Brian was the secretary. For some reason, I came back from the restroom and I got elected treasurer. So that's when I learned one thing with the NDA. Don't go to the restroom when there's volunteers needed, because you will be volunteered. So after a few years working with the local chapter, Tom again asked me to be on the board of directors in the national. So of course I jumped at it. I was learning more about it, and I wanted to get around and visit other chapters and to be a part of the national. That's when I started learning even more about the NDA and what benefits they could bring to my drillers. Years into the NDA, next thing I know, Dan Dunn asked me to be his vice president, and I jumped at the chance. I was thrilled, and thank you, Dan, for that. So moving along a little further, 2016, I do become president. I didn't know I was going to be president for 6 years, but somehow they left me there. But where I really learned about the NDA, in 2016, the SEDC, that we do a lot of presentations, we support them since 2000, asked each vendor or each exhibitor at their show to do the history of, because they were coming up on their 50-year anniversary. So I took on the task to do the history of the NDA. Now, the NDA started in '72. There wasn't no internet, there wasn't no cloud, obviously, or whatever you needed. So I had to rely on people like Tom Conley. Mike Tiani was one of my biggest references. Obviously, he was one of the founders. I mean, I spoke to him, we emailed, seen him at some chapter meetings, got a lot of information out of him, and then the later years you could pick up throughout the internet, things like that. But I also had Frank Viella, Rick Hutchins would send me pictures of past conferences, booklets, just things, drill bits that just didn't exist on the internet. So throughout that time, I learned the importance of this award. It's like the MVP of the Super Bowl, and I'm very honored to accept this. And I want to share this with my wife, 49 years month. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tonight. We honor some great people, and it's always a great time to get together and hand out these awards on behalf of the NDA. Thank you so much.